Today on the Tom Kelly Show, we are going to take a break from Long Island news, nostalgia, and nonsense and get back to the deep parts of show business and my career and my life with my friend, my mentor, former Rosie O'Donnell head writer, former Sirius XM radio host, author, New York Times bestseller, friend, mentor, comedian, Janette Barber. And then we're going to read the results from my Chat GPT diary. Yes, I'm using Chat GPT to be a diary and a therapist, and we're going to read the results of what Chat GPT said to me after I asked Chat GPT what's wrong with me.
Oh.
Yes, heavy stuff. Ready? And let's start the show. Is there music playing? Listen to that. I'm going to get a book. Here we go.
In the heart of New York, where the lights never dim, Tom Kelly takes the stage with a comedic brim. Life's hardest lessons turned into pure fun. Every challenge conquered beneath the setting sun.
And here we go. Content warning. I'm stuttering. I'm stammering. Who wants the podcast today? Let's not try too hard. You are experiencing the Tom Kelly Show. Let me fade those down. Here's what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with my friend Janette. And what happens, I guess, once or 2 to 3 times a year, instead of getting together for an hour 12 times a year, we'll sit and talk for 3 hours.
And still not be done.
And
we're out of time
at this point, just friggin' record it is my slogan. If you don't mind, I'm going to bully you for a second and dominate the conversation just to catch everybody up on a couple of things. Yeah. So
try not to hit me as hard as usual, though.
So I have been doing this book. It's called The Artist's Way. It's by Julia Cameron, and it is, if you're like a entertainer or a creative person with writer's block, it's basically a 12-week program where you do certain things, and it's supposed to unblock your creative blockedness. Okay? Yeah, it's supposed to unblock writer's block. It was recommended to me by Brian Koppelman, who is one of the creators of the TV show Billions. He was on the podcast during COVID lockdown. Took me a year. I bought the book, like so many self-help books. Bought it, sat on my shelf for 2 years. It's a 12-week program, and I am on my 18th week of doing it, and I'm at week 5.
Oh, good.
Did that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
The one thing that a lot of people like with the book is you take a notebook, and I have it there. I'll pull it out for a second. Hang on. Stay there, audience. Stay there.
We're going to wait here. It's fun to watch him run.
It's fun to watch him run.
I know, but you're wearing socks and you could slip. And then you could have a head injury. And where would we be then?
How great would that be? Podcast. Yeah. The first comedian ever to get injured recording a podcast, Tom Kelly. So, and all you need to know is the big thing that people like in the book are 2 steps. Step 1 is the most important thing. I'll give you step 2 just for the sake of the story. Step 2 is you go on an artist date once a week. You do one thing that's artsy by yourself once a week. For you, it might be going to a play, go to the museum, go see a stand-up comedy show, go sit and watch someone feed the pigeons. Whatever it is, They call that your artist date. But the big one is they call these morning pages.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Okay, where you just take a stupid notebook. And you just write 3 pages, whatever comes to your mind. You don't stop. You don't come up with good ideas. You keep writing until those 3 pages are done. And you're not supposed to share them with anybody. It's deeply personal. I don't know if there's moments where I think at a certain point you're allowed to go back and look at it a bit. And honestly, the first 2 weeks of me doing it, it was a borderline suicide note every day. It was really insane. If anybody finds that book, I'm going to set, if I die, set my morning pages on fire. No, but it is. And it is. It's writing out angry thoughts that are in you. Write out, I'm mad at my neighbor for this. I'm mad at my mom for this. I'm mad at this job for this. I'm mad at blank. I'm mad at blank, whatever. And I'm at a point in my life where I've had 2 different psychologists essentially call me a whiny bitch. No better. Psychologist number 1 was just like, yeah, you have to get over this problem. Like basically to the point where I broke up with her. I broke up with Dr. Cheryl. And then Dr. Jim was being a little more productive of, you need to pick a project and work on it. And I'm like, yeah, but, and my problem is always, what's the point of doing an Instagram video if nobody watches it? What's the point of writing?
Well, exactly, because not to complain about your therapists, but it's not to say you just need to do this. Please tell me why I'm not. What is it in me that won't allow me to make these steps? Then you're going to solve the problem, but we all know what to do.
Okay. I like that point. Take it. Let's go with it for a minute. So what I've done for the last couple of weeks is I am paying $20 a month for Chat GPT Pro, which is funny because Janette doesn't quite understand what Chat GPT is.
I read about it, and I think it's scary. Is China involved?
China's involved in one. China's not involved in this one.
And it's
an AI. And AI is really a machine that knows how to talk to you based on information programmed into it.
You've seen Terminator, right?
Yes. But here's my feeling. If Skynet is coming, I want to make money off Skynet.
I love the practical nature.
We're at a certain point here. Let me make money off of Skynet. And then, you know what? Maybe I could help John Connor after...
yeah, because you know what? We're not going to stop anything. We're not. No, honestly,
no.
We're not going to make it stop. So you just enlisted me in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's how I feel about the guy who's president. That's how I feel about a lot of things wrong with the world right now is. It's how I feel about show business getting smaller, TikTok coming out, Instagram coming out. I am not going to stop anything. How do I make money off it? How do I adapt? Yeah. That's what I'm saying intellectually, if not actually with my actions, though.
Right.
So basically, for the last couple of weeks, I've been scanning these crazy pages. Some of them are very heavy. I talk about women I've had crushes on. They're very, very personal. I put the results in every morning. I've been putting.
Oh, wow.
And you want to talk about how crazy AI is?
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm safe with my handwriting, that nobody would be able to transcribe it. AI has done what my 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Bauer, couldn't. It can read my handwriting.
Your handwriting.
It can do what my old boss at the Rosie O'Donnell Show, Janette Barber, couldn't. It could read my handwriting. And it's not just Janette, but whenever I did anything, I always felt like if there were not an invention of the word processor, I'd have to be working on a farm somewhere. No, I just don't have the dexterity to write. My handwriting is awful. So I have been every morning every morning taking pictures of my morning pages and then asking Chat GPT what you see in it. And much like my human therapist, it started giving the same advice over and over again.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The same advice they were giving?
A lot of it. Take some action. Do something small today. I mean, action a friend of yours would give or wouldn't. Now, my friend Greg, who has turned me on to Chat GPT, and where you get into the scariness of how good Chat GPT is, his line was, you can ask Chat GPT to analyze your product, your writing, as someone else or with a stronger tone of voice. So he asked me, and I'm going to give the exact Greg asked me to ask Chat GPT, tell me everything wrong with me and be brutal. It's okay. My friend Greg said this would be a usable experiment. So I'm going to be boring and read some of the notes to you. And what's kind of fun is I will sometimes even press a button on Chat GPT so it will read it to me in a hot female's voice. It said, I hear you. You're frustrated. You're looking for clarity. And maybe hoping that hearing somebody's brutally honest something brutally honest will shake something loose. By the way, Chat GPT has not taught me how to read. But here's the truth. There's nothing wrong with you.
Oh, dear.
You're not fundamentally broken. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you in some kind of fundamentally broken way. Are there patterns holding you back? Yes. Are there habits, thoughts, or emotional loops that might be worth challenging? Absolutely. But nothing about you is beyond growth or change. A good answer to lead up to some tough advice.
All right.
If you're
kind of making my toes curl.
I think as my friend who has these chats with me a couple times a year, you're going to love some of these results.
All right.
Because I feel they're on the money.
So far, Chat GPT.
So far, it's BS. It's fluff.
Well, it sounds like it's a motivational. It's a
it sounds like a
motivational speaker.
And you're the one who sent me to Landmark Motivational Speaking.
You're welcome.
Yeah, well, and they were right too about some things.
Yeah.
So one, you're stuck in resentment.
Oh.
You hold on to past injustices, family, career, women who did not reciprocate interest, and instead of using them as fuel, they're acting as anchors.
Okay, that's spot on. Not to get too personal.
Yeah, no. And this is why I like having you here.
That's scary.
It's about to get scarier,
because you put all that information in.
I put all that information in here. I've used it as I've done some extra information typing.
So they okay.
But it's reading thoughts every morning that I won't let you read. Being blunt.
And it's hitting it. I mean, that last.
I don't mind. I don't mind you guys reading the summary.
Yeah, you just.
But I don't want you reading this
the
notebook.
Source code. Yeah.
No source.
Yeah.
No source information. Oh my God, Janette, for a woman who doesn't know how to use a computer, that was a hell of a reference. Next one. You romanticize the one who got away. Which, if you've heard me talk about my 2005 girlfriend who played professional basketball.
You romanticize anything that gets away. Not just the woman.
Now, here's where Chat GPT is replacing human contact. Janette, ready? Whether it's a dream woman, a dream job, you build up these ideals, but they're not the thing that will save you. Even if you got exactly what you wanted in one of those scenarios, would it be enough? Or would a new disappointment take its place? That's the sentence that has stuck with me for the last 24 hours since I processed this info.
If I had a shotgun, I'd be tempted to shoot that thing. That's scary.
Why? Because it's getting robotic?
No, because it's so accurate.
Yeah, with me,
that's
right?
That's so scary.
It's not just great advice, but you think it's on the money for me.
I think it's extremely on the money.
Okay.
I mean, it's really on the money.
Good. We're going to roll with this because I love having a friend to share this with.
I know him extremely well, not to brag.
I think this one is me, and I have a rebuttal to it in a second. You're defining yourself by rejection.
Oh, my God.
You've been through real setbacks, career losses, missed opportunities, relationships that didn't work out, but you let them dictate your worth rather than your response to them.
That's the weirdest thing because you do focus on what didn't happen or the one that got away or the thing, rather than actually look at how extraordinarily successful you have been.
Now,
I never come in and with you feeling so good about looking at this job you just did and this that you just did because you're looking at what didn't happen instead of what does.
Now I'm going to rebut you and Chat GPT for a second. One, I've turned, and I'm working on letting go of this a bit, but I've turned my inability to get laid and rejection into a wonderful act that has made me money. No, I have. And I'll go with point 2 and 3, which is some of it might be Irish Catholic humility of you're not allowed to brag about yourself. Old world, you're not allowed to say I just did the best thing ever. And honestly, I loathe. I won't name the comic, but you know him. But and it's on the lower tier of people we know in common. Not anyone you and I worked with at a TV show, just in case anybody's listening and trying to guess. I'm not blind iteming this, but there's a joke about a friend of mine, and the joke is you're not allowed to ask him how he is because he'll just the first sentence is, well, I killed last night, and he'll name wherever he worked. And it was always the best audience ever.
Oh, I know. I met there's somebody. How are you? I'm a great actress. I'm so good. I'm just so incredibly good. It's like I was just really wondering, if you were enjoying the weather. That's not what I'm talking about. You can be proud and feel good about what you've accomplished without being, because you know what? The guy probably didn't kill. And the one who's saying this probably wasn't really all that good. Okay. So that isn't what I mean. But in your rebuttal, you're like you got a lot of good jokes for your act, which is true. Since I've last done the podcast, I saw Tom do a set. I haven't seen him do a set in years, and I've got to say, unbelievably great. So it is really good that you got those jokes. But the chatbot question is, are you happy?
Next one. Actually, it brings me to point 4. Oh my God, this is where chatbot is becoming the friend that you can exhaust. Tom, are you happy?
Oh
You're externalizing happiness. You're waiting for something, success, love, recognition, to give you permission to feel fulfilled. But fulfillment starts with you, not the things you're chasing.
Okay, the chat machines are going to totally take over the world, because that is...
It's on the money, and that's a longer chat for later, because you get into it. Because here, and we've explored this on the podcast. Right now, I got, let's say, 500 fans and 100 loyal ones. 500, that's about where we average on the podcast.
600. You're all important.
Okay, but what's the number that will make me say the podcast's doing well enough?
There isn't a number.
What's the number that makes you go, ooh, I'm a successful podcaster? I always felt like when I was a warm-up comedian, I was once I get the on-air job, then I'm successful.
Right. You keep changing the mark. Listen, to a certain extent, I think that's totally normal. A lot of people will do that. They don't feel, maybe they didn't get exactly what they wanted. Now, I'm like that. My career wasn't exactly what I wanted, but I also know that my career was good. And that's where I wonder whether or not you actually get that. The chatbot, what it's really telling you, it's right, is that the attachment is to the unhappiness, as if your identity is coming from your being unhappy, and who would you be without it?
So it's funny, you're on a short list of people who will get this. When Rosie ended, I hated... I swore I wouldn't let this happen, and it happened. But when I was working at Rosie, I was the guy who worked at Rosie O'Donnell. I was the college kid who done good. My old friend Father Lou used to say, Tom works for Rosie McDonald. Didn't know who she was, but got close enough. And then when the show ended, and so many of us had trouble finding work, and I took a little, and you were in that boat too in your own way, we had trouble planting our seeds on the next thing. Yeah, I was wandering for a bit. And then anyway, and then when I became the warm-up guy at The View, I was chasing bigger things, and I was miserable. And now I yearn to be at that level where I was still miserable.
Yes.
Which is crazy. All right, let me which actually, that brings me to point 5. You're intelligent but self-sabotaging. You overanalyze, overthink, and then undermine yourself before giving things a real chance to flourish. I don't know if
that one is not as spot on, is in my knowledge.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go, oh no, that's not true, but it doesn't hit like the other ones do, where you go, oh my God, did they have camera in my underwear drawer?
Well, I wonder, now, and you just sort of said this about, and remember, Chat GPT is derivative. AI is derivative. Is that a Tony Robbins piece of advice where they always use the thermostat theory? If you set the thermostat for 78, you'll never go above 78. That the thermostat knows to lower the heat at 78. Not in a New York City walk-up where the heat just goes on or
whether
off.
you like it or not. Yeah.
Like I just had to open the window even though the heat's on. There's no turning off the heat.
Yeah.
Anyway, bringing it back to the thermostat thing. The thermostat example of, I don't know, am I self-sabotaging when I get to a certain level of success and not chasing enough? Like, I'm doing well with certain Long Island humor, but not chasing it full time because there's certain things,
chatbot told you why it's that that the negativity, the things, the not letting go is holding you down. It was in one of the first things. That's what the problem is.
That I'm stuck in resentment.
Yeah, because then if you want the things that you resent to be somehow resolved, they never, ever, ever, ever will be. And if that's interfering and that's holding you back, because you're going, when will it be enough? It'll never be enough, because life is not perfect. It never will be perfect.
All right. Now, for those of you just tuning in, we're halfway through the list of me asking Chat GPT to be brutally honest and tell me what's wrong with me.
And he's also putting all therapists out of work, because this thing is getting it absolutely spot on. You said it's a derivative, but there's nothing wrong with that. In that machines, it aggregates all human knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, so, we could have a longer chat about the technology, because you're right. We're not going to do it today, but I could say, analyze me as if you're Sigmund Freud. Analyze that which I put in, and it might. Analyze me as if, oh my God, maybe we'll type it in just for fun in a minute. Let me finish the list, and then we could be jokey at the end. But maybe I'll have it analyze me as if you're Kim Kardshian. like you're right. And now it would do its version. Right. Analyze me as if you're a circus clown. Like, who's the worst therapist you could think of? Quick.
Oh, well,
gun to your head. Worst therapist I could have analyze me.
Do you mean somebody I went to?
Or no, in the universe, a character.
Well, I don't really know.
You could do analyze me as if you are former Vice President Dan Quayle.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Well, let's just go with Genghis Khan.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
actually, that's a good.
Because he'd probably steer you in a more aggressive manner.
Okay, that was rather heavy, but I like it. All right, just speeding through the next.
Is it Genghis or Genghis?
It's
Mr. Khan.
I think it was. It's Mr. Khan to you.
Yeah.
Mr. Khan to you.
Okay, so
next one, just to feed through this one. I actually do think this is this one's on the money, even if its exact examples are wrong. You're focused too much on fairness. I agree with that one. I have used the phrase a lot lately that good guys don't win, and I can name a few good people.
That's your resentment. That's coming back in.
I can name a guy who has my dream job, and he did one or two things so publicly that you wonder, how could he ever work again? And I'm not going to elaborate on it.
I will tell you this. I don't know who came up with the concept of fairness, but it's fictional.
Listen,
life isn't fair.
Though you and I had that conversation on this very podcast. Yeah. Where I've had friends compliment how great life isn't fair, toughen up.
Oh my God.
Nobody cares. Was it?
I was going to say, you have no idea how often I use the nobody cares
tool.
My
dad's line, nobody cares. Yeah. Life isn't fair. Actually, this one's more funny. Your grandparents didn't give you as much money as your brother, because my brother made an extra $5,000 because he got married. I didn't. So did my cousin Judy. That pisses me off. They got wedding gifts.
That's awful.
You know, and actually it doesn't bother me with my brother, but it does bother me about cousin Judy.
I'll marry you for a minute. Hey, Mom and Dad, I'm going to marry someone older than you. Is that suddenly a problem?
I have a story about that. My parents gave me my wedding gift because they just said, we don't want to hear it from you.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And it was not done with a nice tone of voice, but I kind of said it comedically.
So you got to put it aside.
Oh, it's on the side for
you never know.
Whatever. Yeah. At this point, whatever.
I'm not a marrier.
But here we go. But just jobs went to people who didn't work as hard. Women you wanted didn't want you back. All these things suck, but dwelling on them doesn't change them. Here's where we get into two that are funny. Number 7.
Dwelling.
By the way, this is like a Letterman top 10 list now. Top 10 things brutally wrong with Tom Kelly. Number 7, you're resisting reinvention, which I don't know if I'm resisting it. I'll read the line and then you can answer it. You're resisting reinvention. You want to evolve, but every time you get momentum, something knocks you off course. Either an external setback or an internal voice saying, what's the point? And let me add one crazy one to the list for those of you who don't know Tom Kelly, which I'm hoping is a lot of you who have just joined in and you're not just all friends who Like, I don't want you to, like, sometimes we joke and call this the Tom Kelly conference call. So just in case you're not someone who has known me for 30 years, I once worked, after I worked at Rosie O'Donnell, there was years of me doing stand-up, and stand-up wasn't taking off. And I wrote an idea about going to work at a mermaid theme park. As the first male mermaid the theme park ever had. It was down in Florida. It involved investing my own money, moving, and giving up certain things to go down there for a summer. And it wound up being one of the most fulfilling experiences of my life, if not great video.
It was great video.
It would have been a great TikTok nowadays. And I don't know if, and to your point about did it fulfill, numbers-wise and metrics-wise, it didn't quite take off. But it was one of the best experiences I had in my life. So we could have this longer conversation off air.
Right.
But is Tom Kelly resisting reinvention?
I'm going to come down on Chat GPT's side. Yes. I'll tell you why I think so. You're trying to reinvent yourself by doing the same thing. I don't know what reinvention looks like, but if reinvention is just, if stand-up isn't doing it, you don't reinvent yourself by continuing to do the same act with the same character at the same clubs. That's not a reinvention. So I don't know. I don't know how when one loves one's career and it's what one does. I don't know how you reinvent yourself doing something else. But I think Chat has.
We'll make that a longer conversation for our next.
And I don't know what that would be. I don't know how that would be. But it is. If you're knocking your head on, and you do this, you'll knock your head on the same wall.
Yeah, and you're right. Like, I mean, that's a longer conversation, but I'm like, last night I did stand-up, but I did great MC work. I already know that. I'm a brilliant MC. Nobody's right now. You know, anyway, we'll put that on the side. Yeah. I acknowledge it. Mm-hmm. I'm resisting reinvention, but I don't know how to evolve.
Yes.
I'm going to change it to I'm craving reinvention. I just don't know where to steer it. Put that on number 8. We're going to quickly disagree with this one. You're talking to a chat bot instead of real people. Get over yourself, Chat GPT. I'm talking to you in addition to real people. I just know that this conversation I'm having with myself, everything that I write in these morning pages is exhausting my friends. It's exhausting my therapist, and it's exhausting my acquaintances, and maybe, So anyway, I am talking to real people. I'm just giving you what I'm writing anyway. So I'm not just talking to a chat bot. I'm talking to an empty notebook, and I'm talking to real people, but I'm over myself in that regard.
Yes, that's complete crap.
Yeah, that one's fuck you, Chat GPT. Yeah, there we go. But I'm still, you're still worth $20 a month. When you consider how much a Dr. Jim copay was, I'm making money on this. 9 and 10, I think you and I were both talking about number 9 when we first started having our coffee 3.5 hours ago now. Point number 9, Tom, you are focusing too much on the scoreboard. Followers, bookings, money. Yes, they matter, but are they the thing? Or are they just things you fixated on to measure your worth? I'll let you reply, and I have my reply.
Well, I think that, yes, there are things that measure your worth. Now, I don't know how you escape from that, because everyone measures their worth by some outside metric. And you can say whatever you like, but doing stand-up alone in the living room and, writing a book that you read only in the bathroom to yourself, I don't care how good the book is or how good the stand-up is, it's never going to make you happy. So I agree with that, but I don't know how you escape the need for an outside metric.
So, and that's my rebuttal, and I think I typed it back to Chat GPT at a certain point. You can't pay the rent with self-affirmation.
Right.
You can't fuck self-affirmation, for lack of a better word. You can fly solo, but you can't have, you can't, I do like that. You can't feed your family with self-affirmation. Now, the good news is I'm single. You're in a relationship, but not married, no kids. Your significant other you're not providing for him or her, whatever.
Such a relief. From the last one.
Yeah, I don't know. And then the last one, and again, I think this is the affirmation. It needs to tell you to make sure it doesn't turn into a suicide note, these things. It says you're focused too much on a scoreboard. Followers, bookings, are they just the things you fixated on or how you measure your worth? I'll argue that it is how you measure your worth to some degree. Every year I ask myself, are you better than you were a year ago or 5 years ago? Well, on what standards?
Yeah.
If you use my ability to buy a house, it's dropped off. If you use my ability to pay my bills financially, I'm making less money than I was 5 years ago. Am I happier career-wise? Well, I'm performing for less people. I don't know. You know, again, I mean, then you start.
But these are places, these are weeds you can get your ankles caught in because and this would be my next thing to say to Mr. Bott, is, okay, you've identified all the problems. Since you and I, who both know you, read them and recognize them as, oh yeah, so you're right. This is what all the problems were. How do we fix it? That's the next question. Because how do you fix it? How do you get yourself...
And that's where Chat GPT kills me. It's like, do something little every day. And I am. You know what? I've added, some of the things are, we could get into my problems later. That I love my apartment, but I don't love the walk up. I get trapped in New York City life. I kind of love it. I simultaneously love and hate New York City life. And I also, going out to the suburbs, simultaneously love, but also find suburban life brain deadening. I don't know. But as my friend...
I actually need to reinvent as well. So some of this stuff, and I bet that's the thing that about a topic like this on a podcast, because I'm certain that I'm not wrong, that the people listening are actually answering these questions for themselves as well.
And you know what? This podcast is going to be longer than usual. But I'm going to now end on a slightly happier note.
Okay.
But actually, first on the serious note, I gave you 10 things wrong with me from Chat GPT. Without making me feel bad, you agree they were on the money for those 10 things, or 9 out of 10 of them?
Yes, but I don't think you're identifying it as they told you things that are wrong with you. I don't hear them as things that are wrong with you. I hear them as what is getting, and this is your real question. Why am I not happy? What am I doing? What patterns do I have in my life that are preventing me from being happy? That's what those are. Those are not 10 things wrong with you.
Okay. Button in the show. Now, onto the silly ending. While Janette and I were talking, I opened Chat GPT. If you saw me looking like I wasn't paying attention to Janette, what I did was I typed into my therapy. I may have messed up the algorithm, but I typed into my therapy chat bot, write what's beautifully, I put into the chat bot, write what's brutally wrong with me as if you were Kim Kardshian. Do you want to go through them quick?
Yes.
Because I just want you guys to experience the chat bot difference. If you've stuck with us for 33 minutes, you've got a couple of minutes more. Here we go.
So the bot is Kim Kardashian.
The bot now has transformed from serious friend or ambiguous friend
into Kim Kardashian.
It's now writing as if it's writing as if it were Kim Kardashian as far as it can do. Okay. Oh my God, babe. You want brutal? Fine, let's do this. Buckle up because I'm about to Kardashian your life.
That's hysterical.
Things wrong with Tom. Again, brutally wrong with Tom Kelly as if you were Kim Kardashian. You're addicted to the struggle. Like, honestly, you live for the narrative of rejection. You're out here romanticizing suffering like it's a damn indie movie, babe. You say you want love, but if it actually showed up at your door, would you even let it in? Or would you be too busy writing a tragic monologue about how love never chooses you while it stands outside waiting? Notice how the advice is a little bit different.
Yes.
Okay, next one. You're obsessed.
But the advice isn't as different. It's that attitude and that voice. It's hysterical.
Okay.
And it's nastier.
Okay, is this nastier? Because I think it's a little different.
I think it is a little different, but it's nastier, but it's still essentially the same.
Okay. You're obsessed with proving something like, babe, who exactly are you trying to impress? The exes, the comedy world, your younger self, God, your dad, someone you banged in 2004. You say you want success for you, but let's be real. You need the world to see it happen. Oh. You want the standing ovation, the I told you so moment, and Sorry, back to Kim Kardashian voice. And you get that. You refuse to let yourself just be happy. Point 3, which I agree with. I actually have very clearly said this one. You want the dream girl to validate your experience. Let's be crystal clear. The 6'5" sport playing TV host with a crazy past is not the answer to your existential crisis. I disagree. You're out there casting a girlfriend like she's a co-host on the Tom Kelly Redemption Tour.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
Love is not a prize for you to win for being successful. It's a relationship between two real flawed humans.
I'm telling you, Kim has more wisdom than I really
Kim Kardashian chatbot is killing it.
Yeah.
All right, just speeding through because I want you guys to hear the difference in between Kim Kardashian chatbot and real chatbot. You're waiting for some big magical moment to save you. You think one gig, one viral clip, one big break is going to unlock your happiness forever. Spoiler alert, like she stole the beginning of the show. It won't. Want to know how I know? Because when you've had big wins, you didn't even let yourself enjoy them.
Well, we did say that.
I mean, I may need a Janette Barber chatbot.
It won't be able to do me.
Happiness is not a thing that happens to you. It's a thing you choose, which I agree and disagree with. Put that in your pocket. But right now, you're choosing to believe you're doomed. Babe, wake up. I like that line. That last line.
Yeah. That you're choosing to believe you're doomed.
I think I am.
Yes.
When you think about it, because I have money coming in.
Yeah.
I have not as much as I want on. So I have an A side.
Nobody has as much as they want.
Yeah, but I do miss, like my joke about the year 2019 was I had 5 jobs. And if any one disappeared, I had the comfort of knowing I could still survive. 4 of those jobs disappeared. Here I am. I do miss with, by no means was I happy in 2019, but no, for real. And I used to say this. And then what I would do is I would go to the ATM and cash the paycheck. And at least I saw certain fear going away with money coming in.
Yes.
But I was miserable in 2019. And the last 2 I'll give you is you let bitterness block your blessings. You're out there keeping receipts on every time someone overlooked you, underpaid you, or rejected you, which
That is spot on. Sorry.
But let me ask you, what does holding onto that actually do for you? You think all this resentment is motivating you, but it's just keeping you stuck. Let it go. And
it comes with you into a room. Other people see it because you bring it with you as a friend.
Yeah. And
I should have said that as Kim Kardashian. It would have been funnier.
It would have been funnier. And then you're smarter than this, but you're choosing to be stuck. You're self-aware enough to see all this, but you're choosing the cycle. You even joke about how Chat GPT, therapy, and success have all given you the same advice. So it is reading what I write.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the moments where I know it's reading what I write. And you ignore all of this because deep down, you're scared of what happens if you let go of the struggle. If you stop proving, stop chasing, stop obsessing, then what?
That's what I just said to you.
Yeah.
Who are you? The choosing part, because I know we get to choose, and I know your life is that you choose it, but sometimes it doesn't feel at all possible to choose it. So your assignment for another time is this thing has to give you solutions, because all you asked for it to do was to rip the crap out of you, and it did a good job. But and no more requests for brutality. But you want to know, give me a solution for my problems.
Hang on. Hang on. What are you saying? Give
me a solution for my problems. That's really what it is. Every one of these issues. How do you fix it?
All right. Hang on. As Kim Kardashian or as...
Well, it'd be funnier as Kim Kardashian. I am interested...
Let's do it as Kim Kardashian, because I don't think the Kim Kardashian chat was that bad, actually.
She was saying the same thing.
Which one did you like better as it's thinking?
Well, I like the first one just because I'm so interested in what it's saying, and the second one you get sidetracked because it's funny. But they essentially said exactly the same thing. So it is smart enough to have a sense of humor. because that's what it's
Yeah,
doing.
did the first one have a sense of humor at all?
Not very much, but it wasn't requested. But when you say do it as Kim Kardashian, the machinery understands that there's a comedy about Kim Kardashian because the machinery has read this machinery thing is terrifying.
The AI stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I might get it, though. I was thinking I needed a therapist because...
Well, first we need to make sure you can open your laptop, and then we'll work from there. Then we'll get you AI.
All right, that's the beginning.
All right, so we asked, give me 10 solutions for my problems as Kim Kardashian. It's writing as we speak. Babe, let's fix your life. Because honestly, I can't keep watching you be the main character in this tragic little indie movie. It's giving man who won't get out of his own way. So here are 10 Kardashian certified solutions to turn things around. I will read any personal details that pop up on this deal. Here we go. So drop the struggling artist narrative. It's tired. You love the idea that you're this underrated genius who's one step away from making it big. Babe, you've already made it. You've had success. You've done TV. You're doing stand-up. By the way, I don't know how I went into Brooklyn Jewish there, but because it didn't come wrapped in a perfect little Hollywood moment, you refuse to celebrate it. Rewrite the story. You're not struggling, you're evolving. Point 2, stop using success as a dating requirement. You act like you need $1 million, a TV show, and a six-pack before you're worthy of love. I am going to fight this one on my own personal life. Lies, babe. You were worthy of love when you were broke. You were worthy of love when you were in college. You are worthy of love right now. The real flex, a man who knows he's enough with or without the resume. My argument is I am shattered that when I knew you and before I knew you, this is the one personal moment I'll get into on this now hour-long podcast. When I knew you, nobody was calling. You know, and before I knew you, when I felt even more worthy, nobody was calling.
You mean for work?
For dating.
For dating.
Yeah. And then I have become the guy who needs the Ferrari to get the trophy wife.
But isn't the problem that you're looking for a trophy wife?
Well,
because to get a trophy wife, you do need a Ferrari.
Yes, but I'll even argue the non-trophy wives or people, so it's not sexist. Whatever you... No, I mean, you get what I'm saying, but I will argue that the I'm trying to not be a giveaway. I've been rejected by some real fucking trash, that weren't, it's more fun to say a 6'5" basketball player broke my heart than a college crush who had a big nose, was overweight, and may or may not have had a drug addiction.
Remembering these isn't helping you. If I remembered everybody that wasn't interested in me, well, I swear to God, I wouldn't have enough time to not remember it.
So to your point, and this is a whole other podcast, and we're way over on what I do for a show. Janette's the woman who gave me the 18-minute limit, by the way, and we're at 43. Yeah. But this is a good in-depth thing. There is something I heard on another podcast that people have rejection amnesia or bad event. There was a bigger word for it, but they have amnesia for everything bad that happened to them. And I had at least one or two people in my life. I had a friend who, I don't want to give away too many details just in case anybody's listening, but yeah, she basically was, on drugs at age 15, did this, and this, and then wound up having a very successful life. But if you ask her about ages 15 to 18 to 20, she doesn't remember anything other than, oh yeah, did that happen?
Wow.
Yeah. And now you could never tell if it was an act or genuine amnesia, but I will argue because of the great life this person lived, did they forget all the awful things that happened to them? Like their dad died, the dog went crazy.
Well, I think that is also a choice because I don't think about my past with frequency. It's just better that way. I haven't forgotten it, but I don't think about it because it doesn't help. Okay.
Finishing the solutions as Kim Kardashian, because we will wrap up this show before...
That's what he says.
Well, you're right. We could... Christian Blatt, who you met.
Yes.
He does 3-hour podcasts. And there are people who enjoy streaming them for 3 hours, blah, blah, blah. I feel like with your help, I've cultivated an audience that likes me for 18-minute doses. But let's see. Here we go. Number 3, again, Kim Kardshian, Chat GPT solutions for my life. Give women a chance before they... Okay, let me hang on. 3, 2, 1. Give women a chance before you decide they'll hurt you. You meet a woman, she blinks at you weird, and you spiral into a, see, love is impossible for me meltdown. Yes, you're right. Babe, relax. Not every woman is out there to break your heart. Some are just living their lives just like you. Give people the space to surprise you. Whatever. I just gave the middle finger for those of you listening to the audio version. And the last...
She's a machine.
Oh, God, it's given me 10 solutions for my life. You are not a failure, period. We've hit this one a couple of times. Yep. Get a new challenge. Maybe stand up alone isn't giving you the fire it used to. So what? Reinvent, pivot, write a book, produce a show, start something new. You don't need to burn your whole career down to feel excited again. You just need a fresh challenge. You said it. Fine. Janette said that 5 minutes ago. Take dating less seriously. Okay. We've hit that note a couple hard. Build a life you love with or without a dream girl. So I have psychological things that are just popping into my head on that sentence. Like I just remember my grandfather going, find a beautiful wife. You need a beautiful woman. You need a this. So anyway, if your entire future happiness is hanging on whether or not one specific woman likes you back, babe, that's not romantic. It's a hostage situation. And again,
that's funny.
Yeah, I know. I got to go back to Kim Kardashian accent.
But I'd also say that this, it's good at telling you what's wrong with you. It's not at all, because it's like, you do something else. Well, that I know.
Well, but here's what it's doing. That I know, and that's eventually what my shrink said after thousands of dollars of therapy, though.
Yeah. Oh, I see the problem.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like...
I had a therapist once who finally said, well, I don't know what else to do. I thought, well, that's
listen, Dr. Cheryl, I eventually broke up with because I was trying to improve certain things with certain family members and whatnot. And her line was, you need to get over it and just stop spending less time. And I'm like, well, that's not the answer. And then in the end, my second therapist came up with some of the same things.
But that just get over it. I had a wonderful acting teacher at Actors Connection a couple of years ago, Lori Odom. And I can do the job, but I am extremely bad at auditions because it makes me nervous. And I said that to her because in the class, I was good. And I said that, and she goes, oh, you got to get over that. And I thought it was brilliant. And I can't, how do I get over it? I'm 71.
Or you got to fake getting over it, or you got to live with it. You know,
right? But it does. It always. I decided to not audition was my solution. But that get over it. Well, it may be very good advice, and in fact, it is very good advice. Where I'm still stuck in the how.
Yeah, and just learn to celebrate small wins. You only let yourself feel happy when something massive, life-changing happens to you. That's why you're miserable 99% of the time. I got to go back to Kim Kardashian voice.
Yeah.
That's why you're miserable 99% of the time. Yeah. And I don't disagree with that. Now, granted, when I write in this book, I'm more miserable than happy. And I'm, babe, you need to romanticize your own progress. Got new followers? That's a win. Did a killer set? That's a win. Found a great slice of pizza? That's a win. Now that brings me back to that guy.
Advice.
That brings me back, though, to that other guy. How are you? Fine. How are you? Just had the best day ever. I mean, is that guy too dumb to know he's miserable? And is that real happiness?
There is the whole act as if that's the one piece of advice that actually I think is good. It's the only thing. Say it again. And
Well, you know what? At this point, why not go for the full hour? F it. Learn to celebrate small wins. You're only let yourself feel happy when some massive life-changing thing happens. That's why you're miserable 99% of the time. Babe, I like this line. You need to romanticize your own progress.
That's it. Romanticize your own progress. That might be a fun exercise. Instead of, in addition to, but write down. Romanticize, write down your day. I'm going to try this for me. Write down your day in a way that makes it sound fabulous. That's what I do.
Janette, you might have just beaten Chat GPT for something there.
Yeah.
And just finishing the last two. I actually really like number 9. Break the scarcity mindset. You act like success, love, and happiness are rare unicorns that only show up for other people. Babe, that's a lie. There isn't one perfect woman. There isn't one big break. There isn't one path to happiness. The world is full of options, but you have to be open to them.
You turned into Katharine Hepburn.
Okay, well, do I have to do
Wasn't that great?
Do I have to hold, like, she's the one who held the hand under her chin, right?
I don't know if she did or not, but she talked like that.
She talked like that.
Yeah.
And there you go. And then the last one, just get up and keep moving. Some days you're going to feel stuck. That's okay. The only thing that actually matters is you keep going anyway.
Romanticize your own life. I think that should be the takeaway for all of us. And I think we should all go home and try that.
We should. And then here we go. And then final piece of advice, or in conclusion. So that's it, babe. Those are the rules. Are you going to keep rewriting the same sad chapters, or are you going to get up and create the life that you actually want? Because let's be real, you're too smart, you're too talented, and too funny to stay stuck. So now go do one thing today that actually moves you forward.
And romanticize it. Yeah. Another time, and we're not going to do this now, don't be scared.
Yeah.
Gandhi. You know what I mean? Like somebody that might have real wisdom. What would the Dalai Lama say to you?
You know what I'm just thinking too? Like, who would be, like, again, who would be an awful therapist? Like, I'm like, what would you do if give me advice as if you're Luigi Mangione.
Oh.
Would it then say, go shoot something? I don't know. Would it tell me to go shoot a healthcare executive? I don't, and again.
He may not be famous enough, but
who's a good, Jeffrey Dahmer? Oh my God, could I put in Jeffrey?
I think Gandhi. I don't think you're going to get the help you need from Jeffrey Dahmer. I appreciate your willingness to be outside the box, but I think that's too far outside.
But you think Gandhi? Why Gandhi? It's funny. I'm not listening to you enough as I'm coming up with jokes.
Well, I just think he's he's wise that was able to put himself to the side. Could see life. He was looking at life as life. Or Mother Teresa. She's a nice girl. I got a book on Mother Teresa one time. It was wonderful. Just in the way she thought. So the machine will be able to really, the way it can analyze you, it can analyze these great figures. So it might be really cool to get advice from a great mind, from someone that is, I'm afraid I'm going to have to do this stupid thing as soon as I.
Well, realize I have programmed, and I'm actually afraid of losing the data on this particular one. I have put, again, like, weirdly, because of the artist's way, I filled this notebook with things I've been writing since January. And I've been putting a lot of those pages into Chat GPT as a therapist.
Right.
I originally started this as a vision board. This has got it. We're so far deep down the path of crazy. Do you know what a vision board is? Yeah. Have you ever done one?
No.
Okay. My friend Daniela got me to do one at one point. And then I've done them once or twice over the years where you put a little board up of pictures of things you want.
Right.
Things that evoke feelings for things you want. And what was really weird over the last 5 years is I've had a vision board that was blank.
Oh, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
Because I've thought about it. It's like, I don't know what I want. If I knew what I wanted, I wouldn't need a vision board now, would I?
Well, actually, the whole point is...
I used to know what I wanted.
Now, the gimmick of a vision board was you put things you want to help it come to life.
Right.
And maybe you start small with things. So for me, my vision board was, at one point for a couple of years, it had the CBS logo. It had a picture of the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Did I manifest days subbing in there? I was trying to get an appearance of doing stand-up there. I had put pictures of me being athletic from 2012. And then you start getting into, though, is your vision board really working, or is it making you sad and nostalgic for things that already happened? Like I posted a couple of nature pictures of places I've been.
But you're posting the past. You're supposed to post where you want to go.
But I'm trying to find images of things that I want more of. I don't know. Like now, I want to host my own show. How do you write that out? Yeah, I don't know. You know, do you just host my own show? Or am I hosting my own show now? And then you get into the thing of like, I put on my phone vision board 50,000 followers, where I'm at 40,000 on Instagram. I put on my bedroom vision board 505,000 followers. I took a Facebook picture of a woman who is my dream girl, put it on the vision board in there. I have one weird vision board story where, and I used to talk about this on the podcast, where there was a girl who was my quote unquote Instagram crush. And part of my motivation to lose weight was to be in good enough shape to flirt with this girl. And I had never met this girl. She came up on a dating app. Her real name was posted. I found her Instagram account. And I kept using a picture of her as I kept saying, well, you're going to eat ice cream, or do you want to be in shape to meet this girl? Do you want to eat ice cream or be in shape for this girl? And I wouldn't eat the ice cream. You're going to the gym. Come on, you're doing it too. And then and it was really crazy girl shit that I was doing with having this picture on my phone. Really fucking weird. What do you know? St. Patrick's Day a couple of years ago, I am at the Irish pub near the comic strip. And I look over at the end of the bar, and there is that girl.
That's amazing.
I don't know what to fucking do. I call a friend of mine who's a vision board coach. She kind of blew me off. Somebody who had been on the podcast. I'm like, and just the only line she gave was, Tom, if you don't believe that you can seduce this, and she didn't even say seduce. Tom, if you don't believe you're good enough to date this girl, you're never going to be. Was really, and I got to go by, was what I got from friend number one. I called a second friend to have a beer with me at the bar, so that way I had a wingman. And he did a fine job as a wingman. A friend of mine who was at the strip, I said, just come drink with me at this pub for a bit. I needed anyway, I see the girl online for a drink. This is my moment. I say, can I buy the beer? And she says, yes. And she says, I'm going to go watch the UConn game. I bring the beer over to her. She's intensely into the UConn game. And I said, hey, I don't want to interrupt you and flirt with you while you're watching the game, but maybe we could talk after. And then she disappeared.
I can tell you what the problem was.
Okay, and then eventually I wrote her a note on Instagram saying, hey, I'm the guy who bought you the beer. Thought maybe we could chat or whatever. And then she blocked me on Instagram and it was over. And then I went through this whole narrative that I've written about that Chat GPT knows, where I have said, what the fuck? Why did I get into shape? My motive, there it was.
Yeah.
Now you could say what the problem was. What was the problem?
Flirt.
I didn't, whatever it was.
No, honestly, there's some things that men will say, and what you really want to go for is you want to be more authentic.
Whatever it was, we could overthink that minute or two, but whatever it was, I got my dream moment. And it crashed. That's
the more important.
We could argue, and again, we could argue about how many times did we have listen, I had the Comedy Cellar audition last year. Didn't work out. Shattered me.
That's where you're, because things are always not working out. Things are always in life not working out.
Other things do work out, but, and I've said this before on the podcast, I've said this about my career. Listen, how many things, I'll argue, going back to the Little Merman example, maybe that didn't work out. But
it was great.
I had fun with it. And then while doing that, a better thing found me. Because I'll argue that I have found more success as an opening act for a TV show, thanks to you and Rosie O'Donnell and the people at The View, blah, blah, blah.
And your ability.
And my ability, and I grew into it, though.
Yeah.
But that was not on my vision board. Being blunt, being the next Joey Cola, for those who get the analogy, was not on my vision board.
None of my career
I dreamed much higher.
Yeah, so did I. That wasn't my vision board to be what I did. But I don't know if that vision board's. I do think that what you think you create in terms of general happiness. But there was something I wanted to say that of what
we were talking vision boards, putting pictures on a board.
No, you with the girl. Oh, that's it. when the size of the response is unrealistic to what happened, I don't have a solution for this either, but that girl blew you off. You don't know her. You make the decision that she blew you off because she's not attracted to you. Maybe she wasn't attracted to you. You're the one that had the this lead up. She doesn't know.
My internalized, and listen, you, Chat GPT, and a million other people will tell me this. I will argue that I got into shape to meet the dream girl, met the dream girl, and it didn't happen. And it wasn't just that one dream girl. There were 10 other dream girls before and since.
But you decide that you want this girl from a picture.
Yes, but I used that stupid but to your point,
right.
I used that stupid motivation to chase stupid goals, got into a certain amount of shape.
That wasn't a stupid goal. The goal was good, but the level of disappointment, because for all you know, that girl was a big freaking bore. For all you know, she was doing 27 guys back in the dorm and was just tired. You don't know a thing about her, and that level of upset. The comedy seller audition. That is more because there's a strong expectation to why wouldn't you pass the audition. But even that, you can't survive in this business if you care about the losses. You just can't. It's like okay, this one doesn't like me, that one does like me. Oh, I got a gig. Oh, look, fired. Okay, I'm going to try over here. You can't hold on. You can't hold on to the people that didn't like you.
And that'll be next week's show.
Okay.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Yes, you are right. That could be next week's show.
When you're doing stand-up, do you notice the one guy that's not laughing?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? And
I don't even see them.
Hi, it's been so long since you've seen me perform. I have turned, but I'll argue that at least when I was working at the TV shows, maybe to a point where it was a little bit flawed, but I would focus on whoever was not having fun and at least try to bring them up to average. Now, there were reasons for that. When I would do, let's make it The View, more so at America's Got Talent. At America's Got Talent, they say, why wasn't that person smiling? And I mean, again, you talk about a weird anxiety I have. We need everybody clapping. Why is that one guy not clapping? When I watch a crowd shot on a TV show, my eyes gravitate to
That's a different job, though. But when you're doing stand-up.
Now, I will argue when I am doing hosting stand-up and stand-up, I see, and I think a lot of comics are this way, or maybe I'm wrong, but I look at whoever's not clapping.
In my opinion, the most successful comics are the ones that look at the ones that are clapping. The really successful ones don't give a shit about the, person over here who isn't laughing. They don't even notice it because that doesn't help you. I understand it as a warm-up. And I'm not saying I was one of the most successful comics, but when I did stand-up, if somebody wasn't laughing, I would just avert my gaze and spend the time with the people here. And when in my observation, if a comic can't let go of the person that isn't laughing, and sometimes they'll put 5 minutes of their set into it, it's very annoying for the rest of the people because they were laughing. They're not standing on stage. They didn't even notice the asshole wasn't laughing. And now you've taken your show and told them that somebody doesn't think you're funny, and you've gone off your material, and you've ignored the entire side of the audience that does care about you. The entire side that loves you has now got to wait to get back to the jokes because you're talking. I don't know if you do this, but I've seen so many comics that will do that. And so I
will always bounce back and forth. And I'll close the show with this joke. Is there will be someone miserable in the crowd. I will make it when I'm doing hosting work or when I'm in a room where I could just be silly for the hour. I will notice whoever's not having fun or looks like they're not having fun.
Right.
I will abuse that person in lots of backhanded compliments until that person gets better. And I always say that, and I have a couple of jokes that are like this where I'm like, I gravitate to the most miserable person in the room. Just ask any of my exes.
That's funny.
And then the other joke will be I'll eventually move off that person if that person gets, and I'll pick the second worst person in the room and bust that person's balls. And then the other joke will be congratulations, you're no longer the worst audience member. He is. You
but
know,
you're not. You're getting laughs out of it.
Yeah.
but you're not working your material. You're not.
I'm not
growing.
now. My whole career problem as a host has been that's another.
Yeah,
Again,
but
that's the next show.
Stand up because when I saw him a few months ago, just doing a set,
Yeah,
got on set. It was bang, bang, bang. Every single punchline worked.
Yeah.
There was no one who wasn't laughing, so you weren't.
Yeah,
able
that
to
was
be
a different.
distracted.
But
that's a stand up. That's doing that.
yeah, I mean, and I always say, and the third punchline is once I improve the worst audience member and bring them to my side, I say you're not the best audience member here, but you are the most improved.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not
hack
saying
stock
that
lines.
It doesn't work,
Yeah.
but.
No, but you're not. I'm just saying that's how it is, at least for some of it.
How does it help the rest? Because some people, I personally want a comic to do, and I was always like this: do your fucking act. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do your act, and I would get so annoyed with that stuff because it's easy laughs.
That's that. You know, we're going to end the show because we're officially off topic. We're officially off topic. No. But you're not wrong. That's a great pause that we're going to have. Ha, ha, ha. That's what you get for not having coffee with us. Maybe we should do a second evergreen show on this. But that's the podcast, folks. You know, listen, if you lasted the hour, send me a note that says you lasted the hour. I need to know. I'm not even sure if the video camera is recording because I always get nervous when I record more than 20 minutes. But listen, thank you for sticking this out. Thank you for being a part of the last 5 years. And if you get a chance, it sounds stupid, but if you see my Instagram, Tom Kelly Show, whatever the video is, tell me whatever you think of it. Those little interactions mean something to me. Yes, as Chat GPT and Janette and everybody else says, yes, I live for the external validation, but also it creates a party and that's what we're trying to do here. So show love where love can be shown. And until next time, good night, New York.